Hello, I'm Novice Cosplay, and in this video I'm going to go over how to shop for fabrics online, specifically for cosplayers. I'm going to provide some specific examples of stores that I like to use, and I've also made a separate video of my fabric swatches, which might be able to help you and hopefully save you some time, and that way you won't have to order swatches for some of your projects. And as a quick disclaimer, I'm not sponsored by any of the stores that I'm going to mention. So with that out of the way, let's get started. So before you start shopping for fabrics online, you should learn some of the basics about fabric. I'm not going to go over them here, really, because there are already a ton of great resources explaining fabrics. This is a book that I reference quite a bit, and here are some links to some other really good videos going over the basics, talking about the difference between fibers, weaves, and just going over some of the basic fabrics to get you started. But once you have that out of the way, we can jump into shopping for fabric online. First, you're probably wondering, why shop online? What are the benefits? I will say if you're completely new to buying fabric, you really should go to a store in person at first a few times. It's the fastest and easiest ways to get a feel for different fabrics and start learning about them, because you can hold them up, see if they're soft on the skin, and get an accurate color because you're seeing them in person. And there's really no replacement for that. But once you've done that a few times, I think you're already ready to start shopping for fabric online. The two main reasons that I personally almost exclusively shop online are variety and savings. I'm not sure if it's because my local Joann's is smaller than others, but there's honestly not a lot of fabric options when I go. So shopping online just provides so many more options. So sometimes I just have to do that to find what I need for my cosplay. Some other negative things about Joann's is that sometimes I do find something that I need, but it's either not really in the right color or it's very expensive. But online stores pretty much have every fabric you could either need. And there are even stores like Spoonflower where you can get your own fabric design printed if you need something really specific. So in-person stores really can't compete with the vast amounts of fabric on the web. And more importantly than that, shopping online is so much cheaper than Joann's. Maybe if you're really good at couponing, you might be able to match the prices of online. But for me personally, I found that's really hard to do, or you have to wait for a sale going on. And sometimes you don't want to wait, you just want to get started. The three main stores that I use, for example, most fabrics are $5 a yard or under, which is super cheap. And I rarely go over $10 a yard for a fabric. Etsy, Aliexpress, and eBay also have amazing prices, but they do take a little bit longer than local stores. Also, another reason I like to shop online is for consistency. Now that I've shopped online a lot, I have a bunch of swatches of my favorite fabrics saved. So when I need fabric for a new project, I can go back to all my swatches and my favorite swatches and just pick that fabric that I know I already like and choose a different color. The problem at the store is that I struggle to find the same fabric at Joann's if I need it again or if I didn't buy enough for a project. So being able to go back to the same fabrics over and over online is really nice. And I've kind of developed my own comfort fabrics of ones that I find myself going back to a lot because I know what I'm gonna get when I order it and I like the results in my costumes. Really the only downside to shopping online is not knowing exactly what the fabric will be like at first, and of course the wait times of waiting for it to ship. But I do have some tips on how to shop online successfully so you can get an idea of what the fabric will look like before you buy it. Alright, so tips for shopping online. Now, there are a few tricks to get an idea of what a fabric will look like before you order it. And the easiest way to know what a fabric will look like in real life before buying it is to order a swatch. Now, not all online stores sell swatches, especially like eBay and Aliexpress, but the ones that do will often send them for free or for very little money. And if you don't know what a swatch is, it's a small square, usually smaller than this, or rectangle of the fabric you're thinking of buying, and it'll have the fabric name on it, the SKU number so you can find it really easily, and sometimes other information, like on here it says the contents 100% polyester. Once you order the swatch, you can then see exactly what it's like in person and decide if it's right or wrong for your project, and then go back and order however much you'll need. Ordering a swatch does mean it'll take a little bit longer for you to get your fabric, but I think it's really worth it, especially if you haven't shopped online before, or if the fabric's really expensive, you just want to be 100% sure it'll work for you. On stores that offer free returns, it's not always necessary, but I usually like to order swatches. I can actually have another video that is going to show all of my swatches in detail, which might be able to save you time where you don't have to order swatches if you like one of the fabrics that I show you. So if you want to check that out, you can check it out here once I finish it. Also, on the subject of swatches, I quickly want to mention, just make sure you keep the swatches every time you buy them, because even the ones that, or the fabrics that you don't like, it'll be useful to reference in the future so you can avoid those fabrics or come back to them. So I keep my swatches just in a little cheap storage bin, and that way I can always go check them out. In your binder, you can also keep track of notes of your swatches, things like if it photographs well, if it's easy to work with, anything like that that's useful to know for future projects and the future times that you're buying fabric or swatches. Now moving on from swatches, there are a lot of useful clues about the fabric usually placed in the details section of the online store page. And if you become familiar with these, you might be able to skip ordering swatches. So first, I always check for care instructions because I like to avoid fabrics that need to be dry cleaned. So I always look for something that can be machine washed. Next, I look to see if a fabric is reorderable or not. Reorderable means that the store will always restock that item if they run out. So naturally, it's preferred when you can reorder the fabric that you buy, because if you ever want the same fabric, or if you run out during your project, you can go back to it, skip ordering a swatch, and get the same exact fabric that you need. Now, if something is not reorderable, that's not a deal breaker. Just make sure you absolutely get enough for your project. Next on the page, I look at the fiber content, suggested uses, and the weight of the fabric. Fiber content will simply tell you if something is cotton, polyester, a blend, etc. I try to avoid blends if I'll be dyeing something, because blends can take dye weirdly. And I know some cosplayers like to pick fibers that would be time period accurate, so the fiber could be important to you. Personally, I don't really have a preference, but I know some people do. So if you do, just check this. Natural fibers like cotton and wool are usually a bit more expensive than the man-made fibers. So I personally tend to stick to polyester and polyester blends just because I like to save money. Another heads up is sometimes man-made fibers can look really cheap, like, let me see, this polyester silk looks really cheap and bad. But as a lining, it would be fine. And other times they can look amazing. So if you aren't 100% sure or are worried that your polyester fabric might look cheap in real life, then just order a swatch of it. So next is the suggested uses of the fabric. This is pretty self-explanatory, but just check to see if what you're making is similar to stuff in the suggested uses. And the suggestions don't always list everything, so use your best judgment here. But that will let you know if you're in the right ballpark. For example, this fabric recommends using it for skirts, blouses, and dresses. And you can actually see some reviews of someone who did use it for a dress, and it looks really nice. Now moving on to the weight, most listings usually have the weight of the fabric as well. Fabric weight ranges from very lightweight to medium weight to very heavyweight. And lightweight fabrics usually have better drape and are thinner. And you probably want to steer clear of heavyweight fabrics and very heavyweight fabrics, or those are primarily used for upholstery and furniture, and you might need a heavy-duty sewing machine to even work with them. Make sure you avoid faux leather if it's in the very heavyweight section, because that is for upholstery. If you are looking for faux leather or pleather that will actually get through your sewing machine and only be medium weight, try just searching apparel faux leather, which will help get you the right results that you're looking for. The weight of the fabric is useful to know and check out because it also helps indicate what applications the fabric would be good for. Medium and heavyweight fabrics make good pants, uniforms, winter clothes, outwear. Lighter fabrics are great for dresses and tops and spring and summer clothes. I also quickly want to mention that if you are using a pattern for your garment, you can look at the back and it will suggest types of fabric to use for it. So that's a great place to start when you're searching for fabrics online. And another way to get an idea of what a fabric will look like in real life before ordering it is search the name of the fabric plus the term that you'll be using it for in Google Images. So you could either search something like fabric for yoga pants and see what people recommend for that, or you could search a crepe dress, see what that looks like, or a crepe suit, see what that looks like. And another tip is you can see what other cosplayers are using for the same character as you and what type of fabrics they're ordering. By doing that, you can choose if you like something or not, or if you need to keep looking for different types of fabric that would better suit your needs. All right, so now I'm going to recommend some stores. The main stores that I use are Psy Fabrics, Fabric.com, and the Fabric Market. There's also some specialty stores like Spandex House, Spandex World, and Tandy Leather. Some other stores that I haven't used but seem really nice are Mood Fabrics, OnlineFabricStore.net, Fabric Wholesale Direct, and Fabric Depot. And then of course there's also Etsy, eBay, and Aliexpress, which are all amazing places to find fabric, but I usually only recommend if you know what you're looking for. And I haven't used any of those in a while, so I don't have any specific stores on those that I can recommend, but if you have any favorites from them, please comment them so I can check them out and so other people can check them out as well. I'll link every store that I have just mentioned. And originally I was going to show my swatches in this video, but I have way too many, so I'm making that a separate video that you can check out here if you're interested. It'll be a really good reference and you can skip the step of ordering swatches hopefully. But that's pretty much all of my tips for shopping for fabric online. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any tips for shopping for fabric online, or if you have any favorite online fabric stores that I didn't mention, please just leave them in a comment below. I'd love to check them out, and hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you. Bye.